Hello, welcome to episode 233 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die from 1981, written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan. Body Heat. I was really looking forward to this film because Lawrence Kasdan is one of my favourite filmmakers. He wrote my favourite film of all time, The Empire Strikes Back. That's how he got his official start in the movie business. He'd written scripts before that, but it was really George Lucas kind of seeing that he'd written a script for Steven Spielberg, I believe, and saying, okay, well, I want you to come on and write Empire Strikes Back. From then, he got Lawrence Kasdan to write Raiders of the Lost Ark. And in 1981, he got to make his own movie for the very first time as far as writing it and directing it himself, and that is this film, Body Heat. We previously reviewed and talked about his film The Big Chill, which he did after Body Heat, which I thought was a fantastic film. And Body Heat was just purely based on the fact that he had done the film was something I really wanted to check out. Stars William Hurt as Ned, a lawyer, and we have Kathleen Turner who plays Mattie, who is the object of Ned's desires. It's set in Florida during a heat wave, and when I watched this, it was the beginning of the heat wave here in the UK. So fingers crossed, next year will be a normal summer in the UK, and we'll look back on 2018 as the big heat wave summer of 2018, and I will always think about Body Heat when I think about that heat wave, because as soon as it started, that's when I popped on Body Heat, and I had about 15 fans on me, just absolutely awful, just so hot, and I felt like I had my own 4DX experience in my living room watching Body Heat, because not only is it set in Florida, it's Florida during a heat wave, which is just unimaginable. So pretty much every scene of Body Heat, you got people kind of dabbing their necks and stuff, they're sweating, they're wearing vests that are kind of soaked through and everything, and there's always fans in the backgrounds of scenes with that little like ticker tape on it and stuff like that. So you really feel the heat, and in my case, I literally really felt the heat because it was boiling. But there was something kind of enjoyable about that in some weird, perverse way. It was like I was a part of the setting of the movie. So the story follows Ned, this lawyer who meets a woman one night and gets talking to her, and she quickly reveals that she's married. That doesn't really stop him. She doesn't really seem to mind the fact that it doesn't stop him, and so he gets kind of lured in by Mattie, and she's very kind of, sultry, seductive. She has this aura about her, and this film is very driven by sex. It's a very sexual film. It's about passion, it's about lust, and it's about greed. Very, very interesting and deep themes that you can really mine with a film noir-inspired story. This is very much a kind of modern film noir, although I guess this film is approaching its 40th anniversary in a few years, so perhaps not too modern. But I think this is, for my money, one of the absolute best film noir films I've seen that was made outside of that period when film noir was really born. The 30s and the 40s, the real classics. In fact, Double Indemnity, which is one of the all-time great film noir movies, has a very similar plot to Body Heat, or I should say Body Heat has a very similar plot to Double Indemnity. You could almost call it a remake, but it is a very different film at the same time. But I like how it takes something that you always associate with movies that take place in the city. It's a much different location, it has a different feeling to it, a different flavour to it. Obviously it's in colour, so that there's that element to it, but it still has the trappings of a film noir film. So I really loved that, the tone and the sensibility of how Kasdan made this film. It felt like a kind of seedy kind of novel as well, brought to life. Where most of the characters, they're not really good people, but you're really interested in what they're doing anyway. There's some good supporting parts with Ted Danson, Mickey Rourke in an early role. Kathleen Turner, this was her first movie as well, kind of gave her a start as an actress, and definitely made an impact with this film. She's very memorable as Mattie. And William Hurt is really interesting as Ned. I've always felt like William Hurt has had a natural sleaziness to him, which, I gotta be honest, like he really fits this role like a glove. And again, he's not really the most likable of people, but you just find yourself, or I found myself drawn into his story and how deep he was willing to go with this woman who was married and had a lot of baggage. And, again, it's about the lust. It's about them kind of embracing each other, and they're all sweaty and stuff, and they're just absolutely gagging to have sex with each other. And they do, again and again and again. But then there's a price to be paid for that. And, they want to be together, but the husband is in the way. And of course you can say, well, she could just leave her husband, but she doesn't want to lose all that money. So you can see where the story is going, and I loved that it had these little twists and turns that weren't too kind of, It was more just like, oh, you know, it was really nicely layered, the twists in the film. Didn't feel like it was trying to fool you in any way, but it was really entertaining and just really strong stuff all around. I thought it was a really, really good film. Is it a film you should see before you die? I'm not sure. I'm going to say yes. Because again, I think that the film noir, whatever you want to call it, genre label, is a really interesting form of storytelling through the medium of filmmaking. And I think this is the best film noir film I've seen that, again, takes place outside of the film noir kind of golden period. You know, it isn't in black and white. It isn't about a detective, you know, but it has... it just has that feeling, but I'm just really impressed. You know, I'm not expressing myself very well, but I was really impressed with how it felt like a film noir while also being its own thing. You know, I feel like lots of modern takes on the film noir kind of feel. They you know, you can see what they're doing. They go with black and white, they do the lighting and stuff, and they have the same kinds. I know, I just feel like this was a real nice extension of a film noir. I mean, there's no way that Lawrence Kasdan is not a fan of film noir, and that heavily influenced him with this film. But also a testament to how good it is the fact that, again, the characters are fairly unlikable, but you still really enjoy going into that world. Perhaps that's kind of a part of us, or maybe a part of me, where it's like, what would it be like if I just was, you know, a little bit more selfish in my life? You know, just seeing how other people live and things like that. I don't know, there's an interesting window into different kinds of people that you can enjoy through the prism of watching other characters do it. You know, something you would never do yourself. But it's enjoyable to kind of just see something completely removed from yourself. You don't always need to relate to characters to find stories interesting, I think. Anyway, Body Heat, I had a really, really good time with it. And even though the heat was, no pun intended, was a real issue when I was watching the film, it kind of added to the experience at the same time. And I think it's just a very well made film, from the direction, you know, the cinematography. Nothing that's going to knock your socks off, but it's just a really well constructed film, I think. So it is a film you should probably see before you die, if only because there are so many films I've seen in the book thus far that are nowhere near the level of this film when it comes to the writing. That's another thing, the chemistry. You know, Kathleen Turner, she's so great in the film. She really holds the relationship up, because, you know, I think William Hurt is very good. You know, don't get me wrong, he slips into that kind of seedy character very well, as I said, but Kathleen Turner, she has a real snap to her. She feels like she just walked right off a 1940s set. You know, she feels like Lauren Bacall or someone like that. You know, she has that kind of, that fire in her, and that wit, you know, and that kind of, you know, that really alluring personality that you get drawn to, you know, where it's kind of like this mysterious woman, you know, this mysterious character who seems to have a lot more going on in her life than she'd ever let you know. And so you want to know more, you're naturally drawn to her. And she pulls that off very well, and so I think that really makes the film work overall, but also that kind of tension in the second half of where this murder plot is going to go and how other certain elements might play into that. So there we go, that's my thoughts on Body Heat. I will say it probably is a film you should see before you die. Leave me your thoughts down below if you've seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.